I began to realize that Staten Island was like a quaint European country.
Okay, stop. Staten Island is like a quaint European country. If instead of a different language, they just said curse words. Hey, how you doing? I'm Sebastian Conelli, comedian, actor, and lifelong New Yorker. And I'm the guy you hate to watch TV shows and movies with. Are you kidding me? It is an absolute nightmare to find parking. No way that would happen. No way. Today, we're gonna be looking at the groundbreaking show, Sex and the City. That's right, I'm gonna be calling out all the things that Sex and the City got wrong about New York. Let's do it.
Okay, so here we got the 4 girls getting pedicures in what looks like the middle of the day.
Sounds like a dream relationship to me.
Okay, this is a problem I have with the series. Carrie and Samantha, yes, they have jobs where they have flexible hours. But Charlotte and Miranda, they are New York professionals. Here's the thing about New York professionals. We grind. We do not have time at 2 p.m. in the middle of the day to get pedicures. Miranda is a corporate lawyer. How does she have the hours to maintain friendships? My buddy was a corporate lawyer. He called off an engagement because he couldn't spend enough time with his fiance. There's a reality to what corporate lawyers do, and what they do is work all the time and sleep in the office. New Yorkers work hard. We don't see our friends. We go, we miss you, friends, but we gotta make that money. If people move to New York expecting this, you are in for a rude awakening. Miranda's talking about all the places that she's having sex with her new partner.
Your love life takes you to Paris, and I'm f***ing in the back of a cab.
That's lovely.
And not just there. We've done it in the bathroom at Bond Street.
Oh, I just ate there.
The elevator at the Marriott Marquis, and a public restroom in Central Park.
How very George Michael of you.
Okay, so this is something that would never happen in New York. She says that she has sex in a Central Park public bathroom. I don't even pee in there. A Central Park public bathroom is probably one of the grossest places on earth. I'd rather f***ing Chernobyl. There's no way that she's having sex in a Central Park public bathroom in the 90s. If you want to have sex in Central Park, they would say, leave the bathroom. We don't want you to get tetanus.
So in this episode, the girls find themselves having a night out in Staten Island.
I began to realize that Staten Island was like a quaint European country. The American music was 20 years behind, and you could smoke wherever you wanted.
Okay, stop. Staten Island is like a quaint European country. If instead of a different language, they just said curse words. If instead of a nice cuisine, they also had chain restaurants and Applebee's, okay? I love Staten Island. I'm from Staten Island. It ain't quaint, okay? I was driving on Highland Boulevard the other day, and I refused to drive fast enough, so a guy just sat next to me and gave me the finger as leaning on his horn. Who was it? It was an ambulance. Here's the thing about Staten Island. We suck. There's a reason why you have to take a ferry to get to us. We're not a great group of people. We're really a bunch of gavones that they put on our own islands. And no one has ever left Manhattan, New York City, to go hook up with dudes in Staten Island. I don't know a single person who's ever been like, I'm hooking up with this girl from the city. Oh yeah, how'd you meet her? She came to Staten Island. That's not how that saying goes. We meet girls from the city and lie and say that we live in Brooklyn. That's what happens. We lie and they say, oh, can I come over? No, I'll drive to you. No, I'll come to you. We lie. I don't admit to someone that it's like herpes coming from Staten Island, right? We don't admit it until at least the 4th date.
Do you have a rolling pin
On me?
in your kitchen?
Are you kidding me? I use my oven for storage.
Okay, so this is New York. Carrie says she uses her oven for storage, which is so true. In New York, we do takeout, we do pizza. We don't cook that often, and we don't have closets. So what do? We make closets. Now, you just can't turn the oven on, because then all of a sudden you might be missing your birth certificate. The oven is a closet, but a closet is not an oven. It's like a square, it's a rectangle situation.
In this scene, Carrie's stepping out for a much-needed cigarette.
Oh, no. Oh.
Okay, this isn't real. There's no way that Carrie would take a drag of a cigarette after it fell in a puddle on the sidewalk. These puddles are some of the most disgusting things that you can find in the city. If it's not human waste, if it's not pigeon guts, if it's not rat poop, you know what it is? We have this little thing in New York called garbage juice. And what is that? It's the black bags when you pick them up, the drip from the bottom. And that's what's on the side of our streets. So when garbage juice is on the ground, you don't smoke garbage juice. We leave the garbage juice to the side. And a lot of places, a lot of cities have tried to create their own garbage juice, but there's no finer garbage juice in the world than a New York City garbage juice.
Okay, next stop is gonna be 62nd and Madison.
62nd and Madison?
Picking up Miranda.
No, God,
Yes,
no.
and then we're picking up Samantha.
Oh, Carrie, no.
Okay, so in this scene, we have Carrie going around town in a taxi, picking up all her friends one by one by one. Do you know how expensive that fare would be? There is no way. This is the opposite of Uber Pool. I thought she was poor. What the is happening here? We're taking a limo ride around town. No New Yorker would ever go, great, I'll pick you up in a cab. This is billionaire shit. The second you get in a cab, we're paying $4. Then we're going cross town. What are you kidding me? Oh, traffic? That's $25. Then we're going downtown. That's another $30. What are we at now? $60, not even tip? Jesus Christ. This is a $200 cab for a group chat.
So in this episode, Carrie admits that she doesn't have money for a cab. And after realizing that she had gotten addicted to dating younger guys,
I decided the only way to break free was to move from one addiction to an even bigger one. Shoes.
Carrie can't afford a cab, but what does she do? She buys a $300 pair of shoes. Here's the thing, you live in New York, you need to make sacrifices. Rent is so expensive. Taking a cab is so expensive, okay? What do you not do? You don't buy a new pair of shoes every day unless you got a lot of money, okay? New York living is sacrifice. We give things up to live in New York, the greatest city in the world, right? What does that mean? That means I can't have off-white Jordans. If I lived in Tulsa, I would have all the Jordans I want. But I live in New York, and you know what does that mean? I buy Air Force Ones. In this scene, Mr. Big gets a parking spot right in front of Carrie's Upper East Side apartment. No way. There's no way.
Interesting dress.
This ain't New York, or it's a miracle. Here's the thing, people outside New York, you need to know this. Every street has about 300 signs. On every street, it's no parking from 9 to 7, except on Sundays where you can never park, right? Every single street's trucks only, but trucks that are only carrying medical supplies, right? School zones, it's so many signs. And every time you pull up, you go, sweetie, I got a spot, I got a spot. You start doing the happy dance, you pull it in, boom, it's a fire hydrant. And then if you do find a meter, if you do, you better be there the minute it's over. You get a ticket no matter what. It is an absolute nightmare to find parking. Okay, this episode features one of the most unlikely things to find in New York City.
I always feel so amazing after yoga. My body feels so open, so alive, so ready for anything.
Samantha,
Yes.
I'm celibate.
A celibate yoga instructor. There's no way a dude's gonna be a yoga instructor and not get tons of ass. These guys are the horniest people I ever met, okay? They don't do downward facing dog not to get in.
You can count on one hand the things a real New Yorker will wait for. My list includes the perfect rent-controlled apartment.
Okay, now this is New York. Every New Yorker dreams of a rent-controlled apartment. I guarantee you people would rather not find true love and a rent-controlled apartment in New York than the other way around. Most apartments in New York, it's not rent-controlled. So what are you getting? Every year it's an extra 200, 300, 500. You don't even know how much they're gonna raise. It's a roll of the dice whether you can afford your apartment. In a rent-controlled place, you know you can. That's why it's better than Mr. Right.
in this episode, Carrie gets some retail therapy by shopping in SoHo.
But I took a wrong turn looking for the right shoes, and somewhere south of Houston Street, I quite literally lost my direction.
Oh, excuse me, sir.
Stop. If you're lost in SoHo, you know what you do? You walk one more block. What's the worst that happens? You find an avenue? There's no way a New Yorker would stop to ask for directions because they made 2 wrong turns. This scene is total bullshit. Keep going.
I know this sounds ridiculous, but can you tell me which way is West Broadway?
Give me your bag.
What?
Your bag.
Is this for real?
You're watching your ring. Quick.
Stop. Do you see what this guy's wearing? He's wearing a bowling shirt. You don't rob someone in a bowling shirt. You have a crappy old shirt with a mask on. This would never happen. This guy looks like he's about to go on a second date. His hair is slicked back. Who gels their hair like a greaser from Greece? He is way too put together. And let's be honest, we're in SoHo. If you don't know what SoHo is, it's a neighborhood you can't afford to walk in. SoHo is not a place to get mugged. SoHo is a place that mugs you because you bought something. The only way you're getting robbed in SoHo is buying a coffee.
I couldn't believe it. 15 years in New York, and just when the city was getting safe, I was getting mugged.
Here's the thing, I've never robbed anyone, but the guy that's robbing her is wearing dress shoes. I assume you gotta run after you rob someone. You don't run in loafers.
Oh! Somebody stop him! He took my strappy sandals!
She has no shoes on. That's the worst part of this whole scenario. That he took the shoes and now she's barefoot in Manhattan.
Oh! Please, somebody! Oh! Oh, gross! I've been robbed!
So Carrie runs into a salon and yells, "I've been robbed." And no one does anything, which is total bullshit. That ain't New York. If someone gets mugged, we take care of them. We know how hard New York is. We're there for each other. You know why? Because when I get mugged, I know I can lean on you, and when you get mugged, you can lean on me. That's what New York is. Even though there's so many of us, we still are a community.
Okay, so in this episode, Carrie's at the bank trying to take out a loan so she can buy her apartment.
It says here that you have $700 in your checking account
I just paid my credit card bill.
and $957 in savings.
Okay, so finally we're getting some numbers on how much money Carrie Bradshaw actually has. She goes to the bank and she finds out she has $700 in checking and $950 in savings. Finally, we're getting some real New York. We're living paycheck to paycheck, and even Carrie Bradshaw's doing it. They go, okay, we're gonna have Carrie buy an apartment, and someone said, hold on a second. Don't be a jerk off, and let's realize what New York is. You can't buy an apartment. You need to save for 20 years and then you buy an apartment. I cannot believe it took until season 4 for us to address how poor Carrie Bradshaw should be from just writing an article. Elle magazine estimates that Carrie's wardrobe for season 4 was $175,000. I don't care what type of column she has. She cannot afford that on just clothing alone. That is more money that she spends on her rents. This is not a reality here. Even storage, how the hell is she keeping that much clothes in her house? There is no way this is a possibility. That's why this show is a fairy tale.
After assessing what little assets I had, I realized I would have to change my lifestyle.
Excuse me? Can you tell me how much the bus is?
Oh, you kidding me?
$1.50.
Really? Wow. Last time I took the bus, it was like 75 cents.
The bus wasn't 75 cents since 1984, so I'm supposed to believe Carrie's lived in the city for almost 20 years and hasn't taken the bus one time? There's no way she was even in the city at that time. Also, here's the thing about New York. The price of a bus and the price of a subway are the same price. Any real New Yorker will go, I've never taken a bus, but I know it's the same price as the subway. Here's the thing, Carrie. You say you're a real New Yorker, but you need to know how much the bus costs. You can't not take the bus for over 20 years. That's not a real New Yorker. That's a tourist that lives here.
Miranda?
Hi, I'm in labor. Meet me at Mount Sinai at 99th and 5th.
Okay, so Carrie and Mr. Big are on this romantic horse-drawn carriage when we find out Miranda's going into labor at Mount Sinai.
Miranda's in labor. I have to get out of here. I have to get to Mount Sinai.
Excuse me, sir. We have an emergency and we need to get to 99th Street and 5th Avenue in a hurry.
I can't leave the park. I'll get a fine.
Here is $400. See what you can do.
This might be one of the most fairy tale parts of this whole show, taking a horse-drawn carriage all the way to Mount Sinai. This would never happen in New York. 1, the carriage would never leave the park. 2, this might be the slowest way to get there. The only thing worse he could have done is Mr. Big said, let's get out, let's get a pedicab. These horses stay in the parks for a reason, because there's less noises, less lights, there's less distractions. These are animals, people. They can't handle the hard New York City streets. Look at this. The horse is surrounded by cars. There's no way they're not honking, flashing their lights. This horse would be freaking out. Oh God, what a nightmare carriage. All right, that's all we have time for today. Let me know what I missed in the comments. What do you think Sex and the City got wrong about New York? And let me know what other shows and movies have the worst portrayal of New York. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to the Post YouTube channel. Share with a friend. We'd really appreciate it. All right, I'll catch you next time. Cosmos! Oh, it's strong. These women knew how to party. Jesus Christ, that's strong.